My topic today is knowing God better. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego knew who their God is, and they were sure of the God they were serving. Lesson number 1, we are going to learn wise decision. These men made a wise decision not to worship the image of gold that King Nebuchadnezzar made. And they made that decision because they knew who their God is. They knew that there is only a true God, and that is Jehovah Yahweh. They were in foreign land, but still they chose to make the wise decision to worship their true God. And that we are going to see in verse 12. But there are some Jews whom you have set over the affairs of the province of Babylon, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who pay no attention to you, O king. They neither serve your gods nor worship the image of gold you have set up. This decision they made together that we will not worship idol gods. Many times as Christians, we are faced with challenges or situations like this. But do we always make the right decision to do the right thing, just like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego? Second point, these men were so brave. Let's turn to verses 16 to 18. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego replied to the king, O Nebuchadnezzar, we do not need to defend ourselves before you in this matter. If we are thrown into the blessing finance, the God we serve is able to save us from it, and he will rescue us from your hand, O king. But even if he does not, we want you to know, O king, that we will not serve your gods or worship the image of gold you have set up. Just see how brave these men were. Imagine they were in the foreign land and they didn't have other choice, but still they were brave because they knew the God that is in them is greater than the one in this world. We also need to be courageous. In the situation that you are, speak to it. Remind that situation that the God I serve is greater than this situation. The mountain before you is nothing before our God. Point number 3. God preserved them. And we will see that in verses 25, 26 to 27. He said, that's the king Nebuchadnezzar, look, I see 4 men walking around in the fire, unbound and unharmed, and the 4th looks like a son of the gods. Nebuchadnezzar then approached the opening of the blazing furnace and shouted, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, servants of the Most High God, come out, come here. So Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego came out of the fire. And the satraps, prefects, governors, and royal advisors crowded around them. They saw that the fire had not harmed their bodies, nor was a hair of their heads singed. Their robes were not scorched, and there was no smell of fire on them. They came just the way they were thrown into the fire, unharmed, without any smell of the smoke. What a wonderful God we serve. God preserved their lives to prove that he is the only God to be worshipped in that nation. As Christians, do you always stand for God? What do people see in you? Do you portray who Christ is? When you commit ourselves fully to the works of our God, He will always protect us. Point number 4, acknowledge. After they were thrown into the fire, and God came through for them, that's when Nebuchadnezzar acknowledged that there is only one God, and that is the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And King Nebuchadnezzar issued a decree to all people of any nation or any language to worship the true God only. I just want to challenge us that let people see Christ in us through our actions. Let them acknowledge that there is God. Hallelujah. So these are the lessons that we learn from the book of Daniel. We should always make a wise decision as Christians. We should also be brave because we know the God we serve is a true God. And through that, our God will preserve us, even in the worst situation that we will face. Let people acknowledge our God, that He is the only God.